Let's pick a card and see what the topic of the day is. Inner integration. Trust there is peace, equilibrium, and the fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and timekeeping effect life has on us. So it's about, coming into alignment with all of the experiences you have in life. From birth to, what they call death, okay? Leaving the transient form, okay? People want to take things and put them into segments, into compartmentalized aspects of your life. This is my childhood. This is my middle. This is older. Okay, but really, it's one flow. It's one flow. One flow. Okay, that needs to be integrated. And the best way to integrate and to stay centered, balance, is to come into the present. I have a saying that the only place you can live truly is the present. The past is gone. The future hasn't happened. So the only place there is reality is the present. Okay. Every life has its ups and its downs, challenges, highs, lows, okay? But remember, all of these things, the highs, the lows, are all just experience. It's like being on a roller coaster ride. It's high, it's low, it's going around the corner, you're hanging on. You never know what's coming around the next bend, okay? And if you are staying stuck in the past, what happens? Okay, then you're not really able to access what is taking place in this moment. Okay, so all of our experiences together create the richness of life experience. We come into this plane of experience with some sort of a plan, what we, want to experience, or, if you have the Prarabdha karma, you come in with Prarabdha karma. Okay, those are things, life experiences that you're going to take on so that you can learn from them, Prarabdha karma. Your Prarabdha karma plays out. Whatever it is you came in to do, it's going to play out. It's going to fuel your existence on this plane. Okay? So yes, as long as there is the ego dynamic in place, this feeling of separation, I am this body, I am this storyline, I am these experiences, without having that stabilizing divine is at the center of being. If you are still unaware of that divine is and you are living in the mind of duality, then one takes on these experiences and attempts to compartmentalize them based on this was happy, this was sad, this was tragic, this was whatever it is that's going on that one has encountered. But all of these, especially the difficult ones, are doorways. They are opportunities to go beyond this identification with form, identification with transient, identification with whatever it is, that if it's something that's been chez tragique, okay? And we've had all those, everyone's had some moment of the tragic drama, okay? But if we dwell there and we stay there, then we are missing out on the richness of all of life, okay? So the path is about coming to that balance, that still point, that divine is, which is in the heart of being. It's always here. If you don't see it, you don't see it. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean it's not there in its fullness. What's happening is one is covering it over with the transient. They are so locked on to the transient and the external experiences, their focus is always outward. And when your focus is outward, then you are usually in the mind of duality, dualistic experience, okay? So what happens? One needs to come to the internalization, okay? Meditation aids in that. There are practices that we give that aid one to coming into a balance, into a quietude, into that centering, stillness. It's like going into the temples in Khajuraho, the tantric temples in Khajuraho. When you're standing at the doorway, you're looking out and you're seeing all the transient world taking place. You're on the outside of the temple and you see all the life experiences, everything going on around it. Okay? As you go into the temple, you're leaving that behind and you're going into the quietude. The further one goes into the temple, the quieter it becomes. The more one leaves that hustle and bustle and drama behind until they get to the innermost sanctum, where you see the linga and the yoni, representative of that divine is, okay, 0 point balance, divine is, which then comes into existence, and Shakti acts like a prism to do what is an appearance of division into all of these different manifestations that we get to experience and enjoy, okay? But one can enjoy these experiences from a place of quietude, centering, always having that in place. The divine is, and if you see from the eyes of the divine is, so to speak, then in the midst of all sound is silence, in the midst of all action is inaction. There is that balance in place, okay? No matter what's going on externally, the yoni, whatever, the Shakti, whatever is going on, that in the midst of it is that still center, okay? So it's like this. You've got this stillness, which is the divine is, and this is the form, the body, the experience, the mind, the transient. Now, for most, they are not aware of this. They just are hanging on, and they're hanging on like this. Oh my God! Okay. But the further one goes, okay, and understands, the more that this comes up in place, okay, that stillness, that quietude, that center of divine is. Okay. So once one deconstructs the fallacy of ego, transient, that it's going to come and go, and it is so devastating. Once one gets beyond that into the divine is, which is eternal, unchanging, okay, then this rises up And then, you have the Shakti going around, but you're not pulled out on the edges, hanging on for dear life. There's a centering that happens, okay? There's an ability to bring all these things together and to see how they work in harmony, okay? Because you have also the experience of Nataraj. What is it? Nataraj is dancing. Nataraj is there. Whether it's creation or destruction, Nataraj is dancing. The divine Shiva, dancing to the creation, to the destruction. And it's all the dance of life in the eternality of time, okay? Whether it's the process of creation and expansion or diminish, okay, then it recycles and goes into something new, okay? Energy is always there. It cannot be destroyed. It only can be transformed and go from one state to another, okay? Like you have water. It's a liquid, it's a solid. It's a liquid, it's a solid. It just transforms from one to the other, okay? So same thing. Energy just transforms from one thing to another. So the path is about coming to that center of quietude. Again, when everything deconstructs, the mind stills. There's no more raging hamster mind on the hamster wheel with thoughts revolving, intruding, okay? There's quiet, stillness. One enters into a new segment, a new way of being, a new stillness of consciousness, okay? And the form could be out there raging about something, but there is still a point of inner stillness. Whereas ego, when it is raging, it is caught up. It is, there is no stillness there, okay? So the difference when one comes to realization is there as a still point. No matter what the form is doing or experiencing, there is a still point that remains. And all these things have come into an integration. All these different pinpoints of experience have now entered a wholeness. Instead of holes, H-O-L-E-S, you are now W-H-O-L-E, okay? And one understands the motion, the waves, the way that life unfolds and is continuous in nature. Whether we're in form or we are out of form, okay, it is still an ongoing experience, okay? So much love and light. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you online.